Hi there, my name is Natalie and welcome to my Holistic Health channel. So today I'm going to bring you a recipe. It's an Arnica salve and it is inspired by my own healing needs from recent events. So it's really easy to make, like all of my recipes. It requires only 4 ingredients and they're all good for wound healing and swelling, bruises, sprains, that kind of thing. So what I've got here is I've got a piece of beeswax, I have some peppermint essential oil, I have some arnica oil, which will be the main ingredient, and I also have some Wheatgerm. So just to give you a little bit of information about the different ingredients that I'm using. So the arnica, that is really good for muscle aches, wound healing, joint pain, and some of the swelling that can be associated with broken bones. And that will be the main ingredient going into this. The beeswax it's good for softening the skin. It's nice to put in a balm because it just solidifies things a bit so you can rub it on. And it's also got anti-inflammatory properties itself. The Wheatgerm, I like to use a little bit of that in there because that's also good for skin healing, but it's also good for preventing scarring, which will be good because I personally have quite a big incision on my leg, so hopefully that will help with the healing going forward. And the peppermint oil, I've chosen that essential oil because that's also good for muscle aches and joint pain, but it's also good for itching of the skin, which whilst things are repairing, I've certainly noticed that it's still, all these weeks later, quite itchy. But now that my wound has got to the stage where the bandage is off and it's healing quite nicely, I'd like to start helping speed up my own healing by bringing together this balm. I have delayed it slightly, I'd probably use it sooner, but just to err on the side of caution, because the arnica is good for it's an anti-inflammatory and it helps with all the swelling. There is potentially a little side effect of it also thinning the blood slightly, and so as a precaution I've been on blood thinners for quite a while with this injury and I'm about to come off those, so I'm getting this ready in preparation. I've not used it sooner because just in case there is any interaction, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I don't want to sort of increase any of the side effects of my medication that the doctor has prescribed me so far. So I am going to start with my kind of double boiler. So I've got a pot of water over here on the hob, and I've got this. And I'm just going to put in the beeswax, which I have 20 grams of. I'll probably slice it up into little pieces just to help with it melting a little bit quicker. And then I am going to weigh out 60 grams or 60 millilitres of the arnica oil. That will then go onto my pot of water and I will turn that on and I will melt that as long as it takes, probably normally about 10 minutes until the beeswax has finally melted. I don't go too hard with I don't want it to bubble and all the water to come spitting out or get into the mixture itself. So I'll put it on a sort of medium temperature, whatever works for you. You'll have to decide because all hobs and cookers are different. So that is the first step of this process. So now I have weighed out my 60 ml of arnica into this, which is going to go on my pot of water, which is not quite bubbling, but it's simmering away quite nicely there. So I'll pop that on there. And then the beeswax, you can actually buy in small pellets, but I had a solid block. So to ease the melting process, I've just chopped it up into little pieces like that. And I have 20 grams of that all chopped up, and that is going to join the arnica oil in the pot here. And that'll take a little while to melt, and what I tend to do is just find a wooden stick or something which I can throw away afterwards. Because of the wax content, it sticks to it, just makes cleaning up a lot easier afterwards. So now that's heating away nicely, you just want to stir it consistently until the beeswax has fully melted into the arnica oil, and then leave it to cool for a little while before moving on to the next stage. So now that I have successfully melted the beeswax with the arnica oil, It actually took me about 5 minutes in the end whilst I was using this stick to stir all the time, and it's blended in really well. I've let it cool for a couple of minutes, and now I'm just going to add the Wheatgerm oil, which is just a half a teaspoon, which I'm using. And the final ingredient, which is the peppermint essential oil, and I'm going to add 6 drops of that. If it will drop. Okay, there we go. So that concludes all of the ingredients that I want to add to this balm. I'm just going to stir all that together. And now that I've got that all blended in and mixed up well together, all I need to do now is add it to a jar to use and leave to set and cool. So I have some little glass jars, but anything that you find appropriate to put this in and store it would work well. As always, I sterilise any pots I'm using before to store. And I try to keep all my herbs, lotions and potions in cool, dark, temperature controlled places. Just gives them the better shelf life and will last you well for longer. So I have a little funnel here just because I don't really want to lose any of this, and it's quite a small pot that I'm using, and I'm just going to fill that up. So I've got enough for more than one of those jars. So I will leave that now to cool, find some other containers, and there you have it. I have the completed Arnica Balm. And that will solidify with the beeswax in there, and then you can just apply as needed. So I hope that has been useful. I hope you found that really easy. You can see there aren't many ingredients there to use at all, and yeah, so I will be getting on with using that soon, and I will let you know how it works. As always, I'm going to provide the sort of instructions, the recipes, the amounts below the video. But if you have any other questions, please feel free to get in touch. Until next time, bye for now.